Extreme Reading, One State Success Story. The Exceptional Children Division in North Carolina, through the North Carolina State Improvement Project, supports a comprehensive professional development system to improve outcomes of students with disabilities within stages of implementation with local school districts. Since 2010, there's been an increased focus on implementation and teaming structure support provided to local school districts from the state level NCSIP team. The school districts target areas of improvement for students with disabilities through their NCSIP implementation plans based on data. One of those areas includes adolescent literacy. Adolescent literacy evidence-based practice implementation has been supported by the NCSIP state-level team from the EC Division since 2014. The professional development structure to support evidence-based practices for improved outcomes for students includes the following. The districts ensure that teachers have a foundational understanding of the science of reading through a 40-hour course called Reading Research to Classroom Practice. During this course, they interact with the evidence-based practices known to be effective and essential to improve student outcomes. Districts then activate a school-wide literacy leadership team to drive the implementation to improve teacher practices that are deeply embedded in evidence-based practices for adolescent literacy. The district team works with the EC Division NCSIP state partners to begin to look at readiness for change. Creating readiness for change is a critical component of both initiating and scaling up the use of evidence-based practices and other innovations in education. The district literacy leadership teams work together to attend a one-day professional development session called Adolescent Literacy Overview, in which they learn about the 6 elements that must be part of a school-wide adolescent literacy plan that will have the highest impact on student outcomes as defined by research. During this session, the literacy leadership teams examine their readiness to enact evidence-based practices to increase student outcomes for all literacy levels of their adolescent learners. When analyzing the student outcome data and their school-wide evidences, districts often find that many students exhibit poor reading fluency, small sight vocabulary, limited understanding of words and multiple word meanings, limited background and conceptual knowledge, and few skills in using strategies that enhance understanding and remembering of oral and written language as an adolescent learner. These literacy leadership teams often find they need to implement intensive intervention for students to close this gap in vocabulary comprehension and fluency skills. As a result of the ongoing coaching and implementation support for adolescent literacy through the NCSIP project, 31 schools and 47 teachers in North Carolina chose to implement extreme reading to provide intensive reading intervention with 1,293 students, in which 282 of those students have a disability. Extreme reading is a research-based curriculum made up of 8 foundational reading and motivation strategies with explicit instruction, guided practice in generalizing and combining strategies within and outside of school. The districts are implementing extreme reading to address the needs of low-performing adolescents with and without learning disabilities.
The results of the implementation is very positive. The chart in the center displays the average yearly gains across 6 years for students with disabilities. The data in the chart indicates that students with disabilities who were taught in extreme classrooms gained over a year's growth for a year of instruction in vocabulary, comprehension, and fluency. The bar graph displays data from the grade assessment of vocabulary and comprehension and indicates a 1 2/10 of a year of growth for 1 year of instruction. The toss graph, which is an assessment of fluency, data shows an average of 1 7/10 of a year growth in fluency for students. Now let's look at one district's longitudinal data. In this bar graph, we see data from 2013-2014 school year to 2018-2019 represented. This data indicates the average yearly gains for all students, including students with disabilities. We see over a span of 6 years an average gain of 1 5/10 of a year of vocabulary and comprehension and a 2 6/10 of a year's growth in fluency. This implementation is not without its challenges. The county noted in this data chart shows a dip in the vocabulary and comprehension scores over time. The county experienced staff turnover and implementation teaming declined over time. Lessons learned: a school-wide literacy leadership team is essential to maintain implementation, sustainability, and growth of practice. Sustaining practice over time is challenging without strong building and district teaming structures. If you have questions about the implementation of extreme reading in the state of North Carolina, please contact Terry Queen or myself, Laura Marsden, at the email addresses noted. Thank you.